Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm taking a look at the high-grade Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion from Gundam Breaker BATTLOGUE. Now, outside of the US, this is pretty much only a premium Bandai-only release, so if you're looking to grab one of these and you haven't been able to find one, then you can find one exactly where I did, and that is through Buyee. Anyway, let's jump right into the review. So jumping right on into the aesthetics, and I will mention that this is a 100% straight build only. And the reason for that is when I was actually going to do a little bit of detailing up like I usually do for the reviews, this came in the door and priorities. So I'm getting this one done pretty quick so I can get to the Gundam Asmodee, or as it says in Japanese, Gundam Asmodeus. So yeah, if you have any questions for that particular review, drop them down there in the comments on this one and I'll get to them in that review. Anyway, as for this right here, this is what we've seen before. This is pretty much, well, it's not 100% the same as what we would have seen in the full review of the Gundam Astray Red Frame High Grade that, if I'm not mistaken, is from 2013? It's more like something in the vein of 95% or so. Obviously, the biggest difference is the color. This has been completely changed, mainly being a black instead of the white. We've got a more wine red instead of the standard red, and everything has been changed up a little bit with gray instead of black. Besides that, the contents of the box, including the accessories, is the same. The only thing that's a little bit different is the shoulders. So we've got two new joints up in the shoulders to make this more standard high grade, making it compatible for kit bashes, where the original Red Frame Astray wasn't. But anyway, as for the details on here. So when it comes to the actual individual details on the Red Frame Inversion here, I guess the biggest issue with this compared to what we would have seen with the original variant is black plastic is a little bit hard to actually, get the actual details out of. For example, moving the inversion out of the way a little bit there, popping in the standard red frame, and as you can see, even just in the head itself, all the detail pops a lot more with a little bit of panel lining. We'll also mention I did paint a lot of the areas that you needed stickers for, include the hands on this one, which I did not do for this review, so that might be something you might want to do as well. Of course, the option is always there to use something like a white or a silver paint or Gundam marker to actually get the details out of this and then clean it up afterwards, but that is definitely a lot more difficult than your standard panel lining on white. But I will mention, I have to say, I absolutely adore the red on black. It just looks so cool. And in the right lighting, this just looks evil and perfect. So for a kit that is almost 10 years old, this is a very nice high grade. The detail on here is incredible, so if you like detailing up your kits with a little bit of extra paint, this will be a whole lot of fun. I'll also mention that if you wish this was like a gold frame or a green frame or something like that, this is almost fully paintable on the runners because of the amount of undergating on it, because Bandai themselves would have wanted to have plated this kit to make a gold frame. Honestly though, it does look really nice, but it is lacking some specific colors, and we do get a lot of those on the sticker sheets. Where we're missing the colors is in the bicep and tricep area of it, which are meant to be in the dark black. The knuckles need painting too. These do not come on the sticker sheet, but the vast majority of the stickers that we do see on this here sheet are for on the accessories, not necessarily the Gundam itself, because that is really where this kit falls flat. So I guess we might as well go check them out. But first, of course, size comparison time. So anyway, as for the size comparisons, there it is side by side with the original version of this particular kit from 2013, which is the Red Frame Astray, and, well, they're the same size, of course. Next up, there it is side by side with the entry grade RX-78-2, which is an average sized 1/44th scale Gundam, so as you can see, the Astray is pretty much average sized. As for a few random Gundams for comparison, there it is side by side with the beautiful Core Gundam, good old high grade Barbie Lupus, the newest high-grade version of a Zaku, the high-grade Dagger L, the entry-grade Strike, and finally the high-grade Infinite Justice. So now jumping into the accessories, and here is the high-grade Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion with absolutely everything that it comes with. Now, this is a kit that definitely focuses on quantity over quality. You get a whole lot of awesome stuff in here, but it is basic at best, and a lot of it is very color inaccurate. And there is something unique to this box we wouldn't have seen in the 2013 standard Red Frame box, and that is these two things right here, which have a lot of potential. Anyway, let's check everything out one by one. Seeing as this is a version of the Red Frame with the flight pack, we might as well start with the flight pack. So this is the standard high-grade Striker pack attachment point, which is different from the attachment point we see with most high grades, which actually comes to one of the awesome aspects about how Bandai has improved the compatibility of this particular red frame over the standard 2013 kit. So first off anyway, this just pops in here like so, and we'll talk about that compatibility a little bit later on. So next up we need an action base. Action base is not included. Standard 3mm peg hole between the legs there. Stick that in like so. And now we've got that red frame inversion up in the sky. So although the hands on this kit are not entirely color accurate, it is nice to actually some options in this box. So we've got a pair of widespread hands like what you're seeing right now, and we've got a standard pair of square peg holding hands that look like this. To attach the hands, you just do the usual routine of popping out the ball joints and popping them back in again like this. Yeah, those should be that way around. And as for the first set of weapons we have in here, we've got the pair of beam sabers which pop into the hands like that and like that. And these have that flat style beam that we'd see with the likes of Gundam Age kits as well as Gundam 00 kits. So that's what they look like right there. When these are not in use, just pop them out of the hands like so. Well, I was going to say pop them out of the hands, then pop out the beam saber, but the beam saber, it decided to come out first. Then you take the handle right here. In order to store these when these are not in use, you can pop them onto the backpack. But when the flight pack is attached, the backpack is more of a butt pack, and that means it can be a little bit difficult. It's easier to do when it's up on its back, but it isn't impossible, just a little harder. So next up is the main event with any Gundam Astray red frame, and that is the Gerbera Straight Katana. Now, just like we would have seen in the standard version of this kit, this is quite disappointing. It is just all one piece in gray, so it's extremely color inaccurate. We also have a scabbard for using with this as well. That as well is extremely color inaccurate. So the centerpiece of this kit is really lacking, and that's always a little bit of a letdown. Anyway, in order to attach this, you have to pop off the back of the hands. It just then slots in easy like that. Then you pop back on the back of the hand, and there it is attached. In order to attach the scabbard, we've got this little bit of a hook segment here that then just attaches onto the side skirting armor, which I will mention is notoriously loose, and it looks a little bit like that right there. When the Gerbera Straight is not in use, you can actually remove it from the hand and slide it down into that scabbard ever so nicely. Once again, it is a nice design, just very classic on the color separation. Next up in here we have the beam rifle. Once again, quite simple. This is all in the one color of light gray. We have a sticker for the sight, and we have a side-to-side moving handle. Attaching it into the hand is simple. It just slides on in, no need to remove the back. And there's a bit of an example of what it looks like attached into the red frame inversion. Next up in here we've got the shield, which is quite nicely detailed. I will mention we are missing one sticker up top on that little raised segment, but besides that, this looks really good. We've got 3 different colors on this. That's the matching wine red, gray, and black. And attaching it is super simple. We have an adapter round back right here, which can be put on in 2 different ways depending on how you'd like to attach it, whether on the side of the arm or the rear of the arm. I'm just going to go with the rear because it's pointing right out there. And the peg just pops on into that hole simply and quite effectively. So next up in here we do have this little adapter segment right here, which allows you to combine both the shield and the rifle for some storage. In order to use this, you just pop off the shield. You need to lose the adapter you had in here, pop this adapter in there instead, and now we've got that little slot segment in which you can take this here rifle, pop the rifle in there to keep it nice and stored away. And now all of this can be stored round back on the rear segment of the flight unit, just like that right there. Handy. The last weapon we have in here is that awesome severed head of a Baku. Now, once again, the color separation on this could be a little bit better, but then again, it could be a whole lot worse. Honestly, I think it's just cool that you actually get this with the Red Frame Astrays. This is just such a cool accessory. I adore this. This is awesome. In order to attach this, you need to pop this little bit out of the Baku head. That then just attaches into the hand like any weapon does. And then the Baku head should just slot on there, just like so. That really is just one really cool weapon. So one of the biggest letdowns when it comes to a lot of Seed kits is the general compatibility, especially when it comes to the likes of the Strike Gundam and the other kits that have this kind of striker pack adapter, which is just one single peg. This isn't what we normally see with kits. We normally see the 2-peg setup, but this kit comes with something that, well, is going to deal with that. First off, we have something that deals with the problem with this kit, and that is the fact that it doesn't have a 2-peg attachment point. So just attach this bit on, which actually is flush with the rest of the kit and looks phenomenal, I might add. Then grab yourself a kit that has the typical backpack adapter. What I'm going for right here is just what's left beside my desk, and that is the... Actually, I'm not going to go with this because the Blue Wing Zero is definitely compatible. I'll use something else. Let's go with the most iconic Gundam wings around, which is the Freedom. Now, this is the standard 2-peg that we see on most Gundam kits. This never would have been compatible with something like an Astray right here, so let's try and get that in there. Can it fit? Yes, it can. So now, all your Astray Freedom fantasies can come to life. Of course, it will need a little bit of paint to actually fully work, but that is pretty awesome. Now, this was an issue that worked in both directions, so that does mean that this has the double prongy point right here. So if you got something like a pack with one pronger, well, you could stick it in, but it would be totally off to the side and not look very right at all. So even if you wanted to take something like the Ale Striker pack from the high-grade Strike Gundam, this also wouldn't fit because of the same reason. But now we've got this little gizmo right here that does the opposite of what we just saw. Now let's try and stick this on. Oh, it already does not fit this particular Gundam. Yeah, that little raised bit right there gets in the way, so bye-bye Freedom. So instead, we're going to go with the high-grade Oryx 78-2. So flip that around. We'll try sticking this backpack on, and there it fits very, very, very well. And now we can take something like the Ale Striker pack, and this should fit. It does not. It seems like it might only just work with the Striker pack from this kit. That only. Oh, that's a little sad. Also, we'll mention this does have a little bit of an attachment point right down there on the bottom, in which you can attach the normal Astray backpack onto, which I might as well. So that just clips on down there, and then into the backpack like so. So if you want to attach an Astray backpack onto a kit, well, now you can. So the last thing I'll mention here is something I almost completely forgot. The shoulder joints on this have been changed. So now we have a ball and socket shoulder, which we never would have had. With the standard version of the Astray, these are just peg into holes in the complete opposite way. So if you want yourself an Astray for kit bashing that has more generic joints, then the Inversion right here would be exactly what you're looking for. That is a cool extra feature I wasn't expecting. So anyway, that right there is it for the review, and this is pretty much exactly the same kit we would have seen back in 2013, which I gave Silver Tier to, and that's exactly what I'm going to give it here again. Silver Tier to me means that this kit is exactly what I would expect from a high grade, and that's what this kit does. It does everything just fine. The only difference we have here to before is the color and the new shoulder joints and backpack adapters, which are great, but not enough to bring it to gold. When it comes to the aesthetics, it does look great for the most part, a lot of nice detail, but it is showing its age when it comes to color separation. It does require a whole lot of stickers, and there are a few seams here and there you might want to fill in. Definitely old tech. When it comes to the accessories, we've got a lot, but a lot of them have a lot of color separation issues, or they are quite simple, so once again, par for the course for a somewhat dated high grade. Now, I did not do the full articulation of this in this review, so I have done that in the standard Red Frame Astray review, so if you want to check that out to see what it can do, but honestly, for an Astray, it can't do that much. It does drop the ball when it comes to the kind of articulation you'd expect from an Astray. So yeah, on the whole, Silver Tier, a very good kit, the most kit bashable high-grade Astray around. It's just a very classic and basic experience. Anyway, as always, if you do want one of your own, you can get yours where I got mine, that is through Buyee. If you're lucky enough to live in the US, you can probably buy it in a Target near you. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. As always, this video and none of these videos would be possible without each and every one of you watching these videos, including those of you who are supporting me on the channel memberships and over on Patreon, including VanFon, Org59061, Lawrence Seahack, Kill Me Inc., Joseph Kukluk, Joe, Gunpla UK Limited, Global Frequency Studios, Forsetti, Caleb Engelhart, and Craig Jerry.